Good morning. This is Dave coming live to you. You may have caught on that I started a new series this week, and it's about bringing your awareness not only to the internal capacity of what is going on within your body, but to equip yourself with the knowledge of what do these numbers actually mean in your body. Now you may ask, what led me to this? Recently, I had a wellness check, and believe it or not, I haven't seen a doctor since I was in the military, really, other than minor things or closure of things, but not really health issue wise. Okay. Now you may have been following me, which is completely fine. You may have disregarded me and scrolled past, which is completely fine. That's your choice. But I practice a very active lifestyle life, from sacred movement and breath work to eating with intention and elevating nutrition in a food format. And I get creative with it. I tap into my creative side and plate them in specific intentional purposes. Okay? But why would this be important for you? You see, you might go to the doctor and the doctor might tell you, okay, we took your blood work and these are your levels. Your HDL, which is good cholesterol, is in normal or great range. Your LDL, which is labeled as bad cholesterol, is in elevated ranges. Your triglycerides might be in a different range of numbers. And then your total cholesterol, which is both your LDL, your HDL combined, right? And these have factors, these have numbers, and some of them are closely linked to your DNA sequencing, okay? Your blood panel profile from ancestral, okay? But it's also from a lifestyle of living, okay? You can choose to be absent-minded of your wellness and wait for something to happen and then respond to it by going to the doctor and getting a profile of what's going on with your body. But you might also get an identity, and you may stay trapped in that identity, and no matter what you do, no matter how much physical activity, sacred movement you do, no matter how much hydration, water you consume, no matter how many times you elevate your meal, and you find no improvement. If you are at this crossroad, it's not because you're doing something wrong. You're already taking the physical, actionable steps, but it's more than just the physicality. You also have to work on the framework. You see, identity is not stored in the body, it just vibrates with the body. Identity is the framework, the mindset that you embody mentally and vibrate emotionally with. The longer you stay attached to that historical reference point, the more you draw that historical reference point into your present moment and maintain anchoring, living in that identified embodiment. And so your body's going to respond as you think, as you believe, as you vibrate. So you can't just scrub the inside, right? Cleaning your internal house without going through the major faculties that you are also part of, because you are a multi-body network system. And your network of system is not just your nerves and blood vessels and physical components, but you also have a network system of mental faculty and a network system of emotional faculty, okay? When we combine coherence in mind, body, and heart, our external environment has no choice but to vibrate in alignment, because like energy attracts like energy. So if you make an internal change, an external factor has to change to match that frequency, match that vibration, match that energy. Now, I won't go too much into physics because I know some people, they get bored with too much information, okay? That is why I absorb this information, I digest it, I consume it, and then I sift through it. I apply it, I practice it, and then I deliver it through my own personal lived experiences, okay? Now, my test results on my wellness check showed great normal ranges for everything across the board. But I also don't just focus on the physicality. I focus on the whole self, okay? And like I said, I haven't been to a doctor for a wellness check since I was in the military, and I got out in 2006, okay? That should tell you something. But also, in my lifestyle living, I do not add a bunch of components. I don't add medication to my internal environment. I don't add an excessive amount of refined or processed foods or elevated added sugars into my system. Okay? If I want something sweetened, I might use agave or I might use honey. You know, if I want coffee, I will use a mushroom coffee, right? And if I want it to have a cream base, I will use a coconut cream, which you can find on the shelf or in the refrigerated section. And you can take your natural vanilla extract, pour about 1 teaspoon in, and you can have a vanilla flavored mushroom coffee. Add a little bit of agave, and you have the sweetened profile that serves your body in a higher vibrational format, rather than just going with the pattern that you have been living cycle after cycle after cycle. Now, if you're like me, I refuse to give up my coffee, right? But it doesn't mean I can't change the value of the coffee and the quality of that coffee that I am ingesting. A lot of people will turn to quench your thirst. Remember that commercial? You might remember if you had regular TV, not streaming, but regular TV. And you might have had some ads come on. Some ads were medication. Some other ads were quenching your thirst. I believe it was put out by Sprite, right? And people started flocking to this sugary, carbonated substance to quench their thirst, only causing havoc within their body. You take a soda and you shake it, and then you try to open it. What happens? It's the carbonation in the soda is so vibrating that by the time you crack the seal and oxygen enters into it, it starts erupting like a volcano. Now imagine what would happen when something in your environment vibrates you, kind of shakes you up, and you respond. It's no different. But when we take conscious, intentional, mindful actions, we can choose how we respond to what comes into our lives, okay? Now, we can't control what comes into our lives because everything that comes into our lives is going to teach us something about ourselves. It's also going to challenge us to grow. All right? Sometimes we just want to stay in our comfort zone and not grow. Though we might say we want something greater, but we're not willing to move out of that comfort pattern cycle, and we remain trapped, anchored in that old identity. And you can spend hours filling up journals. You can practice breath work. You can practice mindful eating. You can shift your lifestyle to an elevated state of vibrational living. But if the mental faculty is not addressed, if the emotional faculty of the attachment of value is not addressed, it remains the same. Because it's not going to change without you taking a physical, actionable step. And yes, mindfulness, meditation is a physical, actionable step that coincides with the coherence of the mind, body, and the heart body. So if you would like to know more about this, feel free to reach out. I have been answering phone calls. I have been answering messages. To let you know, I will respond to you. I will call you back, or I will reach out to you via Messenger, whichever platform that you prefer or that you have engaged with me on, and help you rise into your greater well-being. I can't do the work for you, but I can give you guidance and help you set your feet on a path that works in alignment to you. That you don't have to do an overhaul change. One small change has a monumental effect, okay? Trust the process to unfold. When that becomes your new familiarity, switch something else up. Change something old into something new. And you start putting the new framework, you start wiring new synapses, you start developing new neural pathways and framework and mindsets, neuroplasticity, to accept it as your new state of beingness. And what was gets pushed away. It gets sifted out just like dirt, debris, shaken off, okay? If you keep giving something your attention, it's going to remain as is. But when you declare what you declare and the quality of value as you declare it with your energy, it takes effect below the surface. Once you have made your declaration, take your attention off of it and let it work. It stops working when we bring our attention back to it, because our attention jumps back to a historical reference point that brings that back into alignment to the vibration. And so our bodies now vibrate in a historical format rather than the present format of which we have just made a declaration of. I love you guys. Be well. Do not forget to drink water. Water is a highly crucial element in this process, okay? And I understand. I was in the military and I was forced to drink canteen after canteen after canteen of water, to the point of I mentally could not get myself to drink water because it was forced upon me. This is not a program of forcefulness. This is a program of going with the ebb and flow, with the natural rhythm of your body, not shocking your body, not conditioning your body to extremes. When you do that, you release cortisol throughout your body, and that cortisol can wreak havoc on your body, your nervous system, and also store excess waste in your gut, inflame your body, hold on to toxins and radicals that you may have ingested. I help you overcome that, okay? not by doing the work for you, but by guiding you through the work. Okay? You don't have to do anything alone. I will be with you every step of the way. Just reach out if you're ready to take ownership of your own wellness and well-being. I love you guys. Be well.